The son. All parents have expectations, and through them they end up destroying their children. It is necessary if rid of the parents, just as the child has to come out of the mother's womb one day. Otherwise, the uterus will become death. After 9 months, the child has to leave the womb, leave the mother. For more painful and however empty the mother may feel, the child has to come out. Then in another day in his life, the child needs to get out of his parents' expectations. Only later, for the first time, the child becomes a being in his own right on his own, then walk by their own feet. Then it becomes really free. And if parents become alert and more understandable, will help the child to become as free as possible and in the shortest space of time. They won't condition children to just be useful. On the contrary, they will help their children to be lovers. A totally different world is about to be born, where people go to work. Carpenter goes to work because he loves wood. The teacher will teach at school because he loves to teach. The shoemaker will continue to make shoes because he loves to make shoes. Right now, something very confusing is happening. The shoemaker became a surgeon, and the surgeon, in turn, he became a shoemaker. Both are angry. The carpenter became a politician, and the politician, he became a carpenter. Both are furious. Life as a whole seems to be in deep fury. Just look at people to see that they seem to be angry. Everyone seems to be in somewhere different from where they had intended to be. All seem to be misfits. Everyone seems to be dissatisfied because of this concept of utility, which continues to haunt them. Here's an interesting story. Mrs. Ginsburg, arriving in heaven, addressed the angel of records coyly. "Tell me," she said, "would it be possible to have an interview with someone who is here in heaven?" The angel of records replied, "Certainly, assuming the person you have in mind is here in heaven." "Oh, she is. I'm sure of that," said Mrs. Ginsburg. "Actually, I want to see the Virgin Mary." The angel of records cleared his throat. "Ah, yes. It turns out that it's in a different section, but if you insist, I'll forward the request. She is a caring lady and may wish to visit the old neighborhood." The request was duly forwarded, and the Virgin was truly attentive. It didn't take long, so much so that Mrs. Ginsburg was favored with the Virgin's presence. Mrs. Ginsburg looked long to the radiant figure before her and finally said, "Please forgive my curiosity, but I always wanted to ask you. Tell me, what is the feeling of having a child that is so wonderful that hundreds of millions of people have since worshipped like a god?" The Virgin replied, "Frankly, Mrs. Ginsburg, we expected him to become a doctor. Parents always have expectations, and these become poisonous. This is what I tell you. Love your children, but never generate expectations about them. And love your kids as much as you can, beyond of teaching them to feel that they are loved for themselves and not for some other use. Love your children tremendously, and teach them to feel that they are accepted as they are. They don't exist to fulfill requirements. Whether they do this or that, it won't make any difference to their love. Given away. Love is unconditional. And then you can create a whole new world. Afterwards, the people will naturally move to the things they like. People will move naturally where they instinctively feel flowing. Unless you are satisfied, unless who has found something that is not just a profession, but a vocation, a calling, you will never be happy in relation to your parents, for they are the cause of your being in this world unhappy. The individual cannot be grateful, as there is nothing to be grateful for. Once done, then he will feel immensely grateful. And its realization is possible only if it does not become one thing. Your destiny is to become a person. Your destiny is to become an intrinsic value. Your destiny is to become an end in itself. Shouldn't we love as much as we can? The father insists, "You must love me, for I am your father," and the child has to pretend to love him. There is not even any need for the child to love the mother. It is one of the laws of nature that a mother has a natural instinct for love by the child, but not vice versa. The child does not have the natural instinct to love the mother. He needs the mother, this is a fact. He uses the mother, this is another fact. But there is no law of nature that ascribed to him the duty to love his mother. The son likes the mother because she is very caring and helpful, and without it, he cannot subsist. So he's grateful, respectful, that kind of feeling is normal. However, love itself is an entirely different phenomenon. Love flows from mother to child, not the other way around. And it's very simple, because the child's love flows from mother to child, not the other way around. And it's very simple, because the child's love, it will flow towards its own child. That is, it does not turn back like the river Ganges continues to flow towards the ocean, not towards the source. The mother is the origin, and the love flows forward, towards the new generation. Bringing him back is a forced act, and it doesn't characterize as a natural biological action, but the child has to pretend because the mother tells him, "I am your mother. You have to love me." And what can the child do? It can only pretend, and with that it becomes politics. Every child becomes a politician from the cradle. Starts smiling when mother enters the room, a Jimmy smile. Carter. He doesn't feel any joy, but he needs to smile. You have to open your mouth and do some exercise with the lips, which helps. It is a measure of survival. But love is making it fake. And once you learn the cheapest kind of love, the plastic kind, it's very difficult to discover the original, the real, the authentic. Afterwards, he has to love his sisters and brothers, and in truth there is no reason for that. Who really loves their own sister? And for what? These are all ideas implemented to keep the family together. But this whole falsification process takes the being human to such an extent that even when you fall in love and love someone, that love can reveal false as well. The individual, at this point, has forgotten what true love is. Fall in love with the color of the hair. And what does this have to do with love? After 2 days, it won't even look at the color of the hair. Or you fall in love with the shape of the nose, or a certain type of eye. However, after the honeymoon, these things are just boring, and then you have to keep managing somehow, whether pretending or cheating. Your spontaneity has been corrupted and poisoned, for otherwise he would not have fallen in love with parts. But human beings only fall in love with parts. When asked the question, "Why do you love this woman or this man?" the answer will be, because she's very beautiful, or because of her nose, her eyes, the shape of her body, this and that, and everything. This is nonsense. This means that this love cannot be too deep or worthwhile. This relationship cannot generate intimacy, it cannot have a lifelong flow, and soon it will run out as it is superficial. It wasn't born from the heart. It is a phenomenon generated by the mind. Maybe she looks like an actress, and that's why she was enchanted. But enchantment isn't love. Love is a totally different kind of phenomenon. Love is elusive and mysterious, and it's so mysterious that Jesus says, God is love. It makes God and love synonymous, and therefore indefinable. However, this natural love is lost. With regard to the question, should we love as much as we can? Is it a matter of doing something in your degree maximum capacity? It's not a matter of doing, it's a phenomenon of the heart. It's kind of transcendence of mind and body. It's not prose, it's poetry. It's not math, it's music. Oh, man can't do it, it can just be. Love is not something that man does, love is something that the man is. But these must be this, must be that, are weighed on man's spontaneity. Love is never a duty, it cannot be the result of commands. Nobody can force themselves to love thee as much as you can. That's what people are doing. And that's why love is missing in the world. How to love my mother. A mother must be loved in an entirely different way. She is not the child's beloved, and it cannot be. If the child becomes too attached to the mother, he will not be able to find a partner to whom love. And then, deep down, he's going to be angry with his mother, because it's because of her that he can't transfer that feeling to another woman. Therefore, it is part of the development of being human, having to walk away from the parents. It's just like being in the mother's womb and then having to get out of it. It's leaving the mother in a way, and in a way betraying her. However, if inside the uterus the child has the perception that this will be a betrayal, how can I leave my mother who gave birth to me? then he will kill himself and his mother too. It has to come out of the uterus. First, the child is united to the mother completely, and then the cord that unites them has to be cut. The child starts to breathe on their own, which is the beginning of growth. It becomes an individual, and body and mind function apart from the mother. However, she will remain dependent for years to come. For milk, food, shelter, love, it will depend from the mother, as she is powerless. However, as it gets stronger, it starts to pull away each time more. Afterwards, although she stops breastfeeding, she still depends on some other type of food. In that moment, it is moving further away. Then one day, she has to go to school, make friends. And when you become a young adult, falls in love with a woman and completely forgets about the mother, in a way, because this new woman subdues him, dominates him. If that doesn't happen, something's wrong. If the mother tries to cling to the son, you are not fulfilling your duty as a mother. It is a very delicate duty. The mother has to help him go, which is what makes duty delicate. It's about love. So she will be doing your duty. If the child clings to the mother, then there is something is wrong too. It's against the nature. It's as if a river starts to run uphill, and then everything will turn upside down. The mother is the origin of man. If he starts floating towards his mother, he'll run against the flow. He has to go. The river has to go away from the source, towards the ocean. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have love for his mother. So remember that love for the mother has to be more like respect, less like love. Love for the mother should be based more on the quality of gratitude, respect, deep respect. She gave birth to the child, brought him into the world. The child's love must be very, very devoted to her. Therefore, you must do everything you can to serve her. But you must not allow your love for her to be equal to love for a woman you love. Otherwise, the child will confuse the mother with the loved one. And when goals are confused, man will be confused. So must remember well that your destiny is to find a woman you will love, not your mother. Only then, for the first time, will you become perfectly mature as you meet another woman, means that he is now completely removed from his mother. That is, the final cord, in short, was cut. That's why there is a subtle antagonism between the child's mother and wife, an antagonism very subtle all over the world. It has to be like that, because the mother somehow feels that this woman took her child, and it's natural, in a way. Natural, but ignorant. The mother should be happy that the son has found another woman. Now your child is no longer a child, and, on the contrary, became an adult and mature person. She should be happy, shouldn't she? Therefore, the man can be mature only in one way, namely, moving away from the mother. And this is how it should be. On many levels of existence. The child has to revolt against the father, but not with disrespect, but with deep respect. But it is necessary to revolt. Here it is necessary to use delicacy. The revolution is there, the rebellion is there, but with profound respect. If there is no respect, the revolution becomes ugly. The rebellion ceases to be beautiful. Then the son is failing at something. You can be rebellious and free, but be respectful as your father and mother. They are the origin. Therefore, it is necessary to go away from the parents. Not just far away, but sometimes, in many ways, you have to stand against them. However, it must not turn into anger. It shouldn't be an attitude ugly, should remain a beautiful, respectful attitude. If the child wants to leave, he must go, but he must touch the feet of his mother and father. Indian practice to show love and respect for older. You must tell them that you must go, must cry, and say you feel powerless and that have to go, and that the challenge calls him, that he needs to go. Everyone cries when leaving home. Everyone keeps looking back often, with longing eyes, with nostalgia. The days that passed were wonderful. But what to do? Those who cling to home will be harmed, will remain a teenager, and will never become a man in his own right. That's why you must leave with respect. And whenever your parents need it, serve them, be available. But you must never confuse your mother with your beloved, for she is your mother,